Welcome. My name is Reverend Ken Kimiywe. I'm the Deputy Bishop of Christ is the Answer Ministries, and I also serve as the Senior Pastor at CITAM Buruburu. And I want to welcome you to this series that we are going to be looking at in the next 5 or so sessions. And basically, we shall be looking at the languages of love. And there are 5 of them. And we would want to just look at how, as couples in marriage, we can be able to express ourselves to one another in a way that would be able to bring the other person to feel significant and to have a sense of belonging in the marriage. Now, there's one gentleman by the name of Chapman who has written a book. It's a bestseller, The 5 Languages of Love. And I'll be borrowing a little bit from what he has said there. But what I want you is to see that there is a way in which you can add value to your marriage by understanding and knowing the love language of your partner or your spouse. Let me begin today by looking at the first love language, and that is words of affirmation. Words of affirmation. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 18 and verse 21 tells us that the tongue has the power of life and death. In fact, again, when you read in James, the Bible says that the tongue can bless or it can curse. And so when we use words of affirmation, we are able to build other people. In fact, we raise up their self-esteem when we affirm them, when we recognize the good things and values in them, when we are able to appreciate them for who we are and for what they do. And that way they become more confident, and they're able to give themselves in whatever relationship that we are in. For example, between a husband and wife, when you just acknowledge how smartly your husband probably is dressed, or probably when you recognize the nice hairstyle that your wife has just put on when she went to the salon, those things are the ones that build up our self-esteem and make a person have a sense of belonging. They know that I am valued. They know that somebody recognizes who I am, and they appreciate some of the good virtues about me. And so when we use words of affirmation, we are able to help one another to grow deeper and closer in our love relationship as husband and wife. And I would want to encourage every husband and wife to find time on how they can affirm one another, instead of putting down one another and just looking at the negative aspects of each other. There are so many good things that we can affirm about one another. I know all of us have got our weaknesses. We have some of our areas that are gray in our lives. But you know what? If you look at the positives and the negatives, you'll be very surprised that the person that you're always looking down on, the person that you're always demeaning, maybe by using derogative language, could be the person that you can recognize when you look at the good things that they bring into your life. For example, when you wake up and you have been made good breakfast by your wife, you just want to appreciate her for making a good breakfast for you. Or maybe when he comes back home and he carries something with him and he just comes and gives it to you, you want to appreciate him for that. And when you appreciate one another by giving each other those words of affirmation, the other person makes even more effort to want to please you the next time when they are with you. And so I want to encourage us as couples to find ways in which we can talk words that affirm, words that encourage, words that cause the other person's self-esteem to be raised, words that cause the other person to have a sense of belonging and knowing that, I'm valued. That self-significance of knowing that I can do something that somebody recognizes and appreciates. The very unfortunate part of it, as I said earlier on, is when we always want to lean more on the negative things, and we want to put down people because of what they did wrong, or you put more sugar in the tea, or you put more salt in my food. And that is all that you see. But I believe that each one of us likes when somebody tells us something good. It builds our self-esteem. It makes us to know that we can do better even next time. And then there are those magical words that sometimes we have not been able to apply in our relationships with one another that help us in affirming one another. For example, just saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry doesn't cost you much, but it helps the other person appreciate the fact that you recognize that you have done a mistake and that you would not want them just to assume that you are okay with it, but they know that they hurt you or they did something that offended you. And so when you say sorry, it's a way of also affirming the other person in one way or the other. And then there is also just saying thank you. Again, that is not very easy coming with many of us. It's like sometimes we assume, it is my right. After all, you're my wife, you're my husband. Or yeah, it is your responsibility, it is your duty. But sometimes it's just good to say thank you. That word in itself affirms the other person. They realize that the effort that they made, whatever that went into preparing or making you to be happy, was worth the while. And then there's another word also that sometimes we tend not to use much, and which also can help us in affirming one another, is simply saying, excuse me, pass me the salt, excuse me. Can you help me collect the children from school today? When we do that, we help the other person to be part of us. They feel that they can walk with us through life. They feel that we recognize their presence in our lives, and therefore they are able to complement us. They are able to fill in those areas of our lives where we feel that we cannot be able to perform as much. And so I want to encourage us as couples that one of the ways we can enjoy our relationships in marriage is when we learn to use words of affirmation, affirm one another, encourage each other, exalt one another in the marriage. And you'll be very surprised the dividends that will come your way because of using affirming words. I would like to welcome you in case you want to get in touch with us in one way or the other on this CITAM Church Online. We are available on different platforms. You can catch up with us on Instagram or on YouTube. You can also Twitter or be with us on Facebook. The Lord bless you and keep it here.